Jay here for Stretford, Paddock, and this is the live Europa League draw. We've just been live with the paper talk, so if you've not checked that out a little bit later after this live, because Manchester United are through to the next round of the Europa League, obviously, after that emphatic win over... Is it emphatic? Can you call it emphatic when it's 2-1? Epic. I think epic win is probably more sort of accurate. Anyway, it was great. It was mint, wasn't it? Big win over Barcelona. Atmosphere was absolutely pumping, and now the sort of the result of that is we're through to the next round of the Europa League. Do you know what? I almost forgot about that last night and all the sort of celebrations and the euphoria. I was like, oh yeah, that means actually, yeah, now we're through to the next round. Now we've got a draw. Now we've got more games. Who are we going to get? Now, one thing's for certain, we won't get anyone as good as Barcelona or as big as Barcelona. The two biggest clubs in this competition were easily Manchester United and Barcelona. But there are still some big uns, because I think you've got Juventus. So Juventus are in there. That's a big club. That's one of the giants in it. I know they're going through a little bit of a time of it at the minute, but they're still a big club. Then you're looking at clubs like Sporting, Bayer Leverkusen. Then you quite big clubs, you know what I mean? Then you Real Sociedad. Then you get down to slightly smaller clubs like Feyenoord, like Roma. Yeah, slightly smaller, but still relatively big. Then you get to the minnows, yeah, the Freiburgs, the Ferencvaros, the Arsenals. They're in there. Yeah, your European smaller teams, barely, in it really. But we know we can't get Arsenal. I think you can't get them this time round. The legs are going to be played on the 9th of March and the 16th of March. The first leg played on the 9th of March and the second leg on the 16th of March, which means games are just coming thick and fast, aren't they, for Manchester United Football Club? It is relentless at the minute. It is non-stop, and every game seems huge. So, yeah, we'll go through the seeded teams. The seeded teams are Freiburg, Ferencvaros, Union San Gilois, Real Betis, Arsenal, Fenerbahce, Sociedad, Feyenoord. Unseeded teams are ourselves, Shakhtar Donetsk, Roma, Union Berlin, Bayer Leverkusen, Sevilla, Juventus, and Sporting. And the way it works is there are 8 seeded sides, those who won their Europa League groups, and they will be drawn against the 8 unseeded sides. So, sorry, the unseeded sides were either knocked out of the Champions League or came second in their group. Isn't it weird, right? Because I was fuming, right, when we lost at home to Sociedad. That penalty against Lisandro Martinez, which was wrong. It shouldn't have been a penalty. It hit his knee and then his arm. And the interpretation of the law is if it hits your arm after hitting another part of your body, it's not a penalty. The referee got it wrong. And that is what cost us in that group. That's what made us come second. And then we end up getting Barcelona. And I'm so glad we did, because those two games were ace. And we've come through them. We've got a good result in Barcelona, a great night. Then we have a fantastic night last night at Old Trafford. Atmosphere was phenomenal. Old Trafford absolutely pumping, packed to the rafters. Even at the final whistle, it was still pretty full. I mean, it was just great, and it's given us these 2 games against Barcelona that we'll remember forever. So, yeah, the Europa League, it's the place to be. Imperfect Cell says, wonder how Spurs feel they didn't appoint Ten Hag. Could they have appointed him? What was the script with him? Because I've heard conflicting reports. One, that he didn't want to go there, or that they were dilly-dallying. Let us know what you think. Stuart Thomas says, who's giving you lurgy, Jay? I'm struggling. I'm trying to hide it, and I'm obviously not doing a very good job, am I? Glenn F says, we don't want Sevilla. They're one of those teams, or one of those. Yeah, they are one of those teams. I know what you mean. People laughing about my Arsenal comment. Sorry, I call it as I see it. They're a small club in London. There's a question. Thoughts on the Europa League anthem? Better than the Champions League? Do you think the Europa League anthem is better than the Champions League? These are the hot topics we need to get into. I think it is. Controversial opinion. I think the Europa League anthem is the best anthem ever. It is. Unless, of course, we don't win. I don't know. It hits differently, as the kids say, doesn't it, the Champions League anthem? I just can't imagine a scenario next season where we're not in the Champions League. I might be made to eat my words here. But I think with this manager and this group of players, you've got to fancy us for Champions League football next season, where we are in the league as well. The fact that I think still the Europa League winners get Champions League football, don't they? So we're still in with a chance via that way as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I'd be very surprised if we didn't have Champions League football next season. We're just waiting now. I think there we go. The draw is about to start. So I don't know what it's like with some of these draws. I don't think the Europa League one is nearly as long-winded and boring and strange as the Champions League one. Because the Champions League one can go on for about 3 days, can't it? It's like, oh yeah, we're going to have the Champions League draw now. And my favourite bit of the Champions League draw was where they did the Champions League draw, got it wrong, and then had to do it again. Do you remember that last season? Where it was like, oh, United are going to play PSG again. Oh no, actually, you're going to play Atletico Madrid because we're going to have to do it again in a minute. How have you messed this up? You've got one job. And then we're all going, oh no, I've got PSG, no. Oh, I've got Atletico, that's a bit better. We got knocked out anyway. Yeah, really weird and frustrating, I think. Daniel M says, Spurs didn't appoint him because he lacked charisma. What? Thank you, Spurs, for always being banter. Is that true, Daniel? Is that what they said? He's put lacked charisma in inverted commas. So that's why they didn't appoint Erik ten Hag, because he lacked charisma. If that is the case, then that is ridiculous. Jordan says, Jay, who would you say our best player is? Casemiro, I'd say hands down, the way he's transformed us. I think that's a good shout. I think at the minute, you've got to look at Marcus, what he's doing. His goal scoring is just ridiculous. He seems to be playing at a different level at the moment, Marcus Rashford. Casemiro's up there. In terms of who's the best player, then I don't know. It's close, isn't it? Yeah, maybe you'd say Casemiro. I think there's a case to be argued, right? That right now, this moment in time, Marcus Rashford is the most, I don't like to say the informed player, best attacker on the planet at the minute. That's what his numbers are showing, his performances are showing. I'm not saying in general, as you can argue, that there's other players that are better than him, but at the moment, he's playing at a level that is better than anyone else. I'd argue that Casemiro, all day long, not just at the current moment, but over the past few years, has been one of, if not the best defensive midfielder in the world. And I think his record speaks for itself. And you know what I loved last night as well? We've got the usual nonsense going on here in the Europa League, at least the Champions League, in the Europa League draw. So I'll keep you posted if we get any news, if anything happens or when it actually starts. What I loved about last night, you've got at the end of that game, that win over Barcelona, and you're right, I'm not going to stop talking about it. You've got Rafael Varane, who's won 4 Champions Leagues, a World Cup. You've got Lisandro Martinez, who's just recently won a World Cup, and you've got Casemiro, who's won 5 Champions Leagues, and they're all celebrating at the end of that game together with the fans as well, like it meant something to them. It obviously did. These are elite footballers, winners. They have won everything between them. Yeah, like look at Varane's record is just stupid. Look at what he's won. Like 4 Champions Leagues and a World Cup. And a load of La Ligas as well. Casemiro, 5 Champions Leagues, which is almost unheard of. And a load of La Ligas. And then you throw in Lisandro Martinez, who's just won the World Cup. I mean, these are guys who are used to winning trophies. Used to winning the biggest trophies you can win. And they were absolutely buzzing at the end of the game. And you just love to see it. And it just sort of shows you that this competition, it does matter. It does. If you've got players like that, absolutely buzzing, then it shows you the worth of it. Because listen, let's not kid ourselves. Yeah, we'd all want to be in the Champions League. Yeah, last season I would have said, obviously, someone said to you, you're either Europa or Champions League, and I said, I want to be in the Champions League. That is the best competition to be in Europe. But that doesn't mean this competition can't be a good one. It can't have good teams in it. Big teams in it. They don't come much bigger than Barcelona. One of my favourite memories as a Manchester United fan was in Stockholm when we won this trophy in 2017. So bring it on, man. These are, look at some of the teams we've got to face. These are good teams, big teams. You can have a great atmosphere. It means a lot to the players. Every sort of metric you want to use, it ticks all those boxes. It really does. So it's a competition that I want us to do well in. I want us to win it. I think now we have to be favourites for it. I know Arsenal are above us in the league, and you could argue that point. I wouldn't, but you could go, well, Arsenal are above you, so technically they're the favourites. But look at what United have done this season. I think we've won more games than any other team in Europe's top 5 leagues. We've won 28. I think Real Madrid with 27, and the one's just behind us. I think. I only know that because I'm just starting my news. People in the chat, Joyka Trot says, if United get Roma, the story of Jose versus Erik ten Hag will be media fuel. Also, the story of the Manchester United fans, the way they were treated in Rome was a disgrace. Let's have a look what else people are saying. I'm just getting into some of the comments. Some people are just spamming me. I think some of them might need to be putting a time out. Lara Croft makes a great point. Full time, Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5. That was funny, wasn't it? Come on. Hey, bit of is it Schadenfreude? Is that what it's called? Laughing at others' misfortune. I love a bit of that. Martin, I've lost the comment out there. Wayne Davies says, if Ten Hag wins the quadruple, are we building a statue or what, lad? Why not? Hey, get him a statue. Build him a statue and stick it right in the middle of the Mancunian way. Hey, let everyone see it. Probably not the best idea. But yeah, I think Erik Ten Hag's the real deal. I think if we back this manager properly, he will have success. He's been back this summer, right? He was back. So I'm not giving the Glazers any credit for that because they've bled the club dry, and it was only because they're selling the club, I think, that they actually released some funds. And it's not their money anyway, it's ours. But in the summer transfer window, he wanted Martinez, he wanted Eriksen. I know Eriksen was on a free, but he wanted Antony, he wanted Casemiro. He got the players that he wanted. The only where we didn't back him a bit more was in January when we needed a striker. We lost Ronaldo. We needed a striker. No disrespect to Wout Weghorst, but he's a kid who came in having been on loan at Besiktas from Burnley and having scored 2 goals last season for Burnley. Now, I like Weghorst. He puts a shift in. Is he an elite striker? No, he's not. Let's not kid ourselves. And I've stuck up for Weghorst. I don't like some of the grief he gets, but he's not the very top-level striker. If we get a top-level striker in, like Victor Osimhen or a Harry Kane, then it's a game changer for me, because then you're going from a team and a club that's doing very, very well to one that is nearly perfect. I think there's only a couple of tweaks you can make to this team. I think you look at our centre-back pairing, I think it's the best centre-back pairing in the world. I do. I think you look at our midfield, I think our midfield's very strong indeed. You look at in attack, we've got options other than down the middle. You've got Marcus, you've got Anthony, you've got Jadon Sancho, you've got Alejandro Garnacho, who always causes problems when he comes on. He did again last night. You look at our full-backs, you might argue maybe there's a conversation to be had over right-back. I like Wan-Bissaka and I like Diogo Dalot. Left-back Luke Shaw, he's just played as well as any left-back on the planet in a minute. Maybe there's a conversation about the goalkeeper, does he fit into this system? But it is a very strong team. Just a couple more tweaks and we'll be there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the summer. Let's have a look at some of the comments. Let us know what you think. Snotty Motty says, Colin Gorman, apologies, man. I am a bit snotty. I think it's called like the Barcelona flu. I think everyone who went to Barca's got something. I was trying to hide it and obviously not doing a very good job. Tell says, Osimhen and Bellingham, that'd be a transfer window, wouldn't it? Daniel Gray says, I've lost it. Sorry, Daniel, I've lost your... Let me see if I can find it again. I did have it. So, there it is. Jay, we're not playing Prem football this morning, but no matter what, we finished the weekend still in third. There you go. I mean, it's just annoying, isn't it? Because we're almost... I'm not saying it. Joe Coken says, Dalot is brilliant. Shame he had a setback. I love Dalot. David I says, Luke Shaw not getting enough credit. Plays centre-half and full-back. Best defender on the planet. Now, there's a conversation there. Seriously. Luke Shaw's been phenomenal this season. I didn't think I'd be saying that last season, because I thought he had a bit of a bad one. But they all did, didn't they, last season? They all had a bad one last season. Martin P says, Frankie to United, do we want him? What do you make of Frankie de Jong? I think he's class, mate. I think he fits into this Manchester United team, and I wouldn't be surprised if we got him. Erik Ten Hag obviously really likes him. Mr. Squarehead1234 says, Jay, you're my second favourite bald man associated with United. I'll take that. Is Yap Stam your favourite? What time is the draw, says Samuel? Well, we've got all the pre-draw nonsense at the minute. Just a load of people in suits clapping. Can I get a little bit of volume on that? Is it possible? Oh, no, it's all right. Apparently I've been told, no, you can't. These producers, horrible to me. Especially when I'm ill. Mike says, you're right, Jay. Frankie de Jong is absolute class, which is why Ten Hag had Fred plastered all over him last night. Had a great game, didn't he, Fred? He divides opinions, shall we say, Fred. He can be a little bit frustrated, I think that's fair to say, but he's got bag loads of energy. You can see why he gets in the team when he does, and he played very well last night and obviously got his goal as well. Did he come off his shin last night? Some people saying. I watched the game at the time, I couldn't tell. And when I got home, I couldn't even tell. But it doesn't matter. He scored an important goal. Tell says, get Juve in the final. Alex K says, De Jong, Bruno, Casemiro midfield next year. Imagine. Balsa Kaladirovic says, any thoughts on Maguire's reaction after the victory last night, Jay? I don't know. I've not seen this. What was his reaction? I think there was... This isn't the picture, is it? This is the picture I see doing the rounds where he's got quite a solemn look on his face. Because I don't think that all tells a story. I hate, right? I understand these. I'm not digging people out. But I hate when people take a screenshot or a picture of just something in a split second and say that tells you everything you need to know. Because it doesn't. You can catch someone. You take a split second picture. You catch someone. You can catch me with my eyes closed right now. As I'm blinking. It doesn't mean I'm sat here asleep. It's like, it doesn't always let you know what's going on. If you've got footage, then that tells you something. When we had footage of Cristiano Ronaldo walking down the tunnel, yeah. But when it's just a snapshot, sometimes it doesn't tell you everything. So I don't know. I might be wrong there. But let me know what the reaction from Harry Maguire is. I know Harry Maguire was kicking off down the tunnel at half-time about the penalty with the referee. He went after the ref. So it's not like he doesn't care. I think with Maguire, it's just levels in it. This dude needs to get put in a timeout. Yeah. Sanashan Reddy says, beat Arsenal in the final after overtaking them in the league. Do you know what? That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Can you imagine? Yep. We overtake him in the league and then we play him in the Europa League final and beat him. And they end up with nothing. That'd be mint. Beat him in the FA Cup as well. Even better. Joshua Vella says, Jay, do you remember speaking to me outside the pub in Melbourne? I asked you about Eccles, yes. Oh, right, sorry. I can't see. Who's that? Union Berlin have come out. I do remember chatting to you about Eccles, brother. So, Union Berlin, they're out. Yeah? Can we get them? Can we get this, who we could get up and just put it in the corner? Sorry. So, these are the group winners. So, obviously... So the Union Berlin were unseeded. The seeded teams, which isn't us. Union, San Gilois. Yeah. Why are you laughing at my pronunciation there? Is it wrong? How do you pronounce it?
It's spot on, Jay.
Right. The production team are mocking me. They're getting away with murder today, by the way, because I'm not well. They're absolutely having me over. Right. So that's the unions are playing each other. Hey, there you go. Battle of the Unions. It's like 1984 all over again. Sevilla. Can we get Sevilla? No, we can't. They're unseeded. So, I wouldn't mind Sevilla getting Arsenal, you know. I think they'd do him. You heard it here first. Sevilla to do Arsenal. If they get him, obviously. So, we've got the Battle of the Unions, and we've also got Sevilla versus... Oh, God. Just tickling his balls there. Here we go. How many times have you got to twist that to open it? Come on, son. Right. Fenerbahce, I think that is. Fenerbahce. Hey, Sevilla versus Fenerbahce. Not a bad one, that. That's a decent little tie, that. Stinks of Europa, that, doesn't it? Absolutely reeks of a Europa League tie. Sevilla versus Fenerbahce. Two decent teams in Europe that you probably wouldn't expect to be in the Champions League. Yep, Sevilla versus Fenerbahce. So, we've got Union versus Union. Sevilla versus Fenerbahce. Now, who's in this one? This is our little sub, innit? Who's he pulling out here? Is this us? Is this us? No, Juve. So, I keep saying this, but I wouldn't mind Juve against Arsenal, actually. That'd be a good one, wouldn't it? You know. Massive team, Juve. Still going through a lot of issues with these points deductions and all that, but he's still got a good team. We've been heavily linked with Dusan Vlahovic, haven't we? Be interested to see what happens with that one. Everyone's saying, please let it be Arsenal. Someone's saying, I want Juve. I don't think we can get Juve. Yeah, Igbo Kwenu says, I want Juve. I think we can't get him. SC Freiburg. So we've got the Unions versus each other, Sevilla versus Fenerbahce, and Juve versus Freiburg. Is someone make a note of these for me, by the way? Alexei, if you're alright to do that? Good lad. In fact, it's alright, I can do it myself, actually. Actually, like Stephen Howson, then. So, who's this one? Bayer Leverkusen. Bayer Leverkusen. Do you remember was it under Moyes we played them? I'd have Leverkusen. We played them under Moyes. Didn't we batter him 5-0? I remember that one. I saw Antonio Valencia scored. That was really weird, that, wasn't it? Like, we struggled that season under Moyes, yet we battered them in the Champions League. And then we went to, was it Olympiacos, and lost. That was horrible, that was it, that game. Versus, what? Ferencvarosi or something. No disrespect to anyone who's watching that, sorry, from that area. Let me try again. Ferencvarosi. So that's Hungarian, apparently. So, Leverkusen versus Ferencvarosi. Okay, so we've got Fenerbahce versus Sevilla, Juve versus Freiburg, Leverkusen versus Ferencvarosi, and the two Union teams. Sporting. Oh, Sporting. We can't get Sporting. No, can we? We can't, can we? No. Right, we can't get Sporting. So Sporting are going to play. Obviously, there's a bit of a connection there, isn't there, with United and Sporting, with Louis Nani. Why don't I include his first name? With Nani, Ronnie, and obviously Bruno as well. So, Sporting. Well, this is Arsenal. That's an interesting one, that, isn't it? They've probably... Do you reckon they got away with that one a little bit, Arsenal? Sporting versus Arsenal, is that a tough game? Let us know what you think. Let's get into some of the comments here. Hang on a minute. Let me see what's going on with the next one. Oh. Hey, Manchester United, we're out of the hat. Manchester United, we've been drawn against... Well, we're going to find out in a minute. So, United. Is it going to be a... we can have Sociedad again, can't we? Could be Sociedad. Could be Betis. Could be Feyenoord, could it? Could it be Feyenoord? No, yeah. Betis! It's the rematch from that friendly. Real Betis. So United are going to play Real Betis Bolompe in the Europa League next round. You'd take that, wouldn't you? Come on, you fancy... I mean, we just beat Barcelona, for Pete's sake. You fancy us against Real Betis. So, yeah, I think the draws are the games are the 9th of March and the 16th of March. So we're playing Real Betis. We'll just go through the rest of it. AS Roma. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, people. Hit the like button, even if you don't like that draw. Give us a subscribe as well. So, sorry, I missed that. Who's just been drawn out then? Was that anyone? Just waiting here now. He's just doing the next ones. Not that we all care, really. Come on, we've done the big one. So it's Sociedad. Real Sociedad against Roma. Sorry, I missed Roma. Roma playing Sociedad. So that's a decent side. It's another one as well that just stinks of the Europa League, doesn't it? Two biggish clubs, but not quite the very top level of their countries. Shakhtar Donetsk. They've been drawn out. Who are they going to get? Let's have a look-see. Shakhtar Donetsk. Don't forget to hit the like button as well, people, if you're watching. Let's get to 1,000 likes. I like this. Mina Gali says, Jay's the most anti-Tory man in the north, but has the most violently English pronunciation. I'm sorry. My pronunciation's horrible. It's such like a Brexit trait, isn't it? Oh, there you go. Sorry, I missed it. It was Feyenoord. So it's Shakhtar Donetsk versus Feyenoord. So we've got the full... Right, we'll try and get a graphic up for that. So it's Fenerbahce. So you've got the two Union teams. You've got playing each other. You've got Sevilla versus Fenerbahce, Juve versus Freiburg, Leverkusen versus Ferencvarosi, Sporting versus Arsenal, United, of course, the big one versus Real Betis, Roma versus Sociedad, and Shakhtar Donetsk versus Feyenoord. So, Real Betis, you'd take that, wouldn't you? It's a tie you'd expect us to win over 2 legs anyway. If it was just Betis away, you might be a bit, it could be a tricky one. But you'd fancy over 2 legs us to beat Real Betis. Could be a nice little trip as well for the travelling Reds, the ones that fancy it. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Let me know what you think. You know who we've got. Are you up for that? Tim Crampton says, Jay, you need to get a hot toddy down your neck, lad. Has that got alcohol in it? I'm not allowed if it has. But you're right, I do need something. Brian Casey says, you feel a bit under the weather, Jay. Sound a bit bunged up. Hope you feel better soon. Thanks, bro. I'm a little bit bunged up, but I'm okay. I'm soldiering on. Hey, got loads of videos to do. Still got to do the preview. Still got to do the brew with Stephen House soon. So I'll be all right. Anyway, I've got a cup final to look forward to. Yeah, so the last 16 draw, it has been done. A quick recap even before we wrap up there. So you've got Union Berlin versus Union SG. You've got Sevilla versus Fenerbahce. Juve versus Freiburg. Leverkusen versus Ferenc Varosi. I think that's a Hungarian team. Sporting Lisbon versus Arsenal. Be just see what happens there. United versus Real Betis. We just played him as well, ironically. Roma versus Real Sociedad. And the last one is Shakhtar Donetsk versus Feyenoord. So a decent draw for the Reds, I feel there. You fancy our chances of getting through to the last 8. Hopefully, it'll be another packed out Old Trafford for the home game as well. And we can have a good trip away to Real Betis for those that are making it. And if we're not making it, I don't know if I'll be going. I'll be definitely watching it though. I hope you will too. Don't forget, everyone, to hit like, share and subscribe. I've been Jay. This has been the live Europa League draw. Thanks for watching.